Hello there, everyone. Allie Virtue here from Parkside Nutrition, and today we are talking about, is skipping breakfast bad for you? I'm a functional medicine nutritionist and have been for 8+ years, so let's go ahead and get into this topic. All right, so what are we going to cover today? Is it bad to skip breakfast? The pros, the cons, my personal advice based on my experience and education. And then we're going to cover some good breakfast ideas, whether your goal is fat loss, muscle gain, gut health, lowering your blood sugar. And then at the very end, we got a little gift for you. So definitely hang on. All right, so is it good or bad to skip breakfast? Before we decide if it's good or bad, I have clients that thrive off of different eating patterns, and I think that's really important to keep in mind that you, the individual, have to execute this, have to, keep to this sustainable pattern, whatever that is for you. So everybody's pattern can look really different, and that's totally okay. But I do want you to realize, based on your goal, that might change things. And healthy breakfast for another person might not work well, especially if someone has a muscle gain goal versus a fat loss goal, gut health goal, blood sugar, cholesterol, things like that. There's going to be a lot of similar elements, but the details might change a little bit and can really, really expedite your success progressing towards that goal as well. So a lot of times people will say well, I want to gain muscle and lose fat, Allie. Well, for right now, what is the most important goal for you? Because we can't always do everything all at once. Wish we could, definitely wish we could, but that's going to minimize your results. So if we can focus on one of those particular goals at a time, that is going to allow you to see more progress and therefore probably be more motivated. So try to pick one goal, and we can always have another phase later working on another one. So let's get to the pros and cons. All right. So the pros for skipping breakfast. So no breakfast in the morning. This could be helpful if you want to do intermittent fasting. Otherwise, it may simplify your morning routine because you don't have to worry about feeding yourself. If you want a very simple way to create a rather significant, most likely, calorie deficit, this could be very helpful. Not always. Some people don't do well with skipping meals. Others really like it because it's one less meal to prep. It's one less meal to think about, what can I make that tastes good, that keeps me well fueled, et cetera, et cetera. So for a lot of busy people, this can really simplify things. It's not my favorite, but there we go. Simple works for a lot of people. It's easy if you're not hungry in the morning. Very simple. Some clients I work with are really just not hungry when they first wake up. So we don't always worry about that. Depends on how the overall day looks and how they're progressing, et cetera. But you have to keep the person's preferences in mind. And this actually might eliminate one really poorly balanced meal. So if someone always gets breakfast at Burger King or McDonald's in the morning and just not having breakfast, might be an improvement. Depends. Obviously, if that's a meal that doesn't make them feel very good, but that's their go-to breakfast, hey, look at that. We just eliminated it. So I won't take that off the table. Those could be some pros as far as skipping breakfast. Now for my cons. Not enough fuel. So in my experience, people don't feed themselves very well. They don't always feed themselves regularly. And if we're consciously and choosing not to have breakfast, that limits my opportunities to get good nutrition into that client, right? It can make them definitely more irritable. They're hungry. They haven't had any fuel for the day. They don't have any protein or anything helping them balance their blood sugar. So it can definitely make it harder to focus. For some, always that asterisk, for some, it can make them more irritable, more stressed out, etc. So keep a tab on how your focus is, how your mood is, how your emotions are when you do skip breakfast. Is that helpful or is it not helpful? Depends on the person. Not enough protein, not enough fiber, vitamins, minerals. Those are the things, aka vegetables or healthy fruits in there. I won't say healthy fruits. Most fruits are healthy. But those are the things that I'm seeing missing a lot of times. I wish people were eating more protein, more fiber, more vitamins and minerals in their diet. And so if I'm taking away that opportunity, that usually makes my job harder. Not always, but usually. I want more opportunities to get good nutritional deposits into the figurative bank here. All right, so let's focus on some individual goals. Good breakfast ideas for fat loss. So if we're thinking in the fat loss lens here, calorie deficit is a must. This can be on a day-to-day basis. This could also be created over the week as well. That's totally fine. You don't have to be in a chronic calorie deficit every single day of the week if you want. You can really structure this how to fit the person. This is especially helpful if you have really active days. For me, that's on a Wednesday. I'm really active. So if I were pursuing a fat loss goal, I probably wouldn't put Wednesday as a calorie deficit day because I'm just moving a lot. It's going to be harder to stick to a lower calorie amount, etc. Talk to a professional, work with someone one-on-one to help you cater this. It's really, really helpful. But if I'm in a calorie deficit and I'm trying to find a good breakfast for fat loss, I probably want to have some high protein meals, at least 30 grams or more Or you can also base this off your total goal. So if you have a total goal in mind, take 30% of that total goal if you're planning on having 3 meals. If you're having more meals, you can obviously divide it by that if you want to keep it pretty even throughout the day. And I would recommend that. Having good regular protein amounts at every meal usually helps people a lot. If you're looking for roughly what your protein goal should be, I would say 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight or more. Really depends. But again, going back to that previous slide, a lot of people are under eating on protein. So if that seems like a lot, it's fine. Move up towards that. You don't have to start there right away. So for a 150 pound person, 120 to about 150 grams of protein per day is what we're looking for. If we take 30% of that, my breakfast could look like 36 to 45 grams of protein in that breakfast. Might seem like a lot. So again, don't feel like you have to eat the whole thing. You can stop when you're full, but it should be more filling. And that's good for weight loss. And it's probably not going to be overly high in calories. It's going to help you create that very sustainable, hopefully easy fat loss is nice, but it'll help you work towards that. So we got the fiber, high fiber. We need we got the high protein. Now we need high fiber. High fiber also keeps us very level-headed mostly throughout the day. And it's going to slow the absorption of our meal and therefore making it last longer as well. So high fiber is really good. If you want numbers on this, I would say 7 to 10 grams of fiber in a meal is pretty great, especially when the overall goal for the day is like 20 to 30 grams of fiber per day. Very general, but gives you something to work with. As far as carbohydrates, really moderate. So protein and calories are going to be our 2 important factors. So definitely focus on those first. If you want to then, or if you need to see more progress or other things to modify carbohydrate intake and fat intake. That's why I said moderate. They can be higher, they can be lower. Really depends on your personal preferences and also your health factors. We'll get to blood sugar in a bit, but if you do have a blood sugar element, like your blood sugar is too high, then I would keep the carbs a little lower, fats a little higher, and that's going to still help our fat loss goal while not ignoring those other health factors. 1 piece of toast, not 2. Well, 1 slice, I guess, in 2 pieces, but moderate in the carbs. We got some good protein here with the eggs. Could be a little bit more. If this is a smaller person, that might be an adequate amount of protein, but usually a couple more than 2 eggs is usually needed. We got some healthy fats, and look at all these vegetables. Really, really good over here. So pretty happy with that. Pretty middle of the road. We got a very seedy bread going on down here. So that's hopefully going to give us some fiber. Again, might be too high carb for some people. Really depends. We've got some egg for protein. I would actually love to see some like salmon on top of this or some other protein. But this is a good start. Avocado, healthy fat in there. Lots of fat in the yolk too. Lots of good nutrition. So this would probably keep you full for quite a while and help you create that calorie deficit by minimizing snacking and, feeling pretty good and level throughout the whole day. And then down here is kind of a savory-ish option, but yogurt. If you're trying for fat loss, might go for fat-free or low-fat. Otherwise, not too picky. I think whole-fat yogurt definitely has its health benefits as well. So open to preferences on that one too. I would say I'd like to see a lot more berries in this one. So lots of blueberries, like a cup. 2/3 of a cup, a full cup of berries. Blackberries, raspberries, or blueberries would all be fantastic options. A few strawberries is fine, but they're going to have less fiber compared to those other berries. And then some nuts and seeds. I prefer nuts and seeds versus granola because granola usually has added sugar. And usually that's just not good for a fat loss type of breakfast. So this one would be really good option. All right, good breakfast for muscle gain. So key elements to gaining muscle. We need a calorie surplus. We are building muscle, building tissue. We need to add more to our frame. Therefore, we need to eat more than our body initially requires at the current frame and size we are at. So calorie surplus. Protein intake is going to be really important, and resistance training. Those factors are so important for creating more muscle mass. Crucial. That's your basic recipe. So within that, we still need high protein, higher potentially. So you can, if you're still really full off of those fat loss recommendations amount of protein, that's fine. Just keep with that if that's a change for you. If you're very experienced with building muscle and or you've been lifting weights for a while, so we need an added stimulus or change for your body to really create some adaptations, then I would increase your protein. So 1 gram to 1.25 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So again, for this same amount, that should be 150 pound person, 150 grams to 188 grams of protein per day. And if I'm going to divide this by 3 meals, that's about 63 grams of protein in a meal. That might seem like a lot. So this is quite often why people who are trying to actively gain muscle have to have multiple meals throughout the day, because this is really filling. If we're just getting that amount of protein, not even counting carbs, fat, or anything else, this can feel really filling. So feel free to divide it up into 4, maybe 5 meals, something like that, or 3 meals and, larger snacks, however you want to put it. But for the day, that's a ballpark. Again, that should be 150, not 1,000, 550. All right, as far as fiber, I still want some fiber in the mix. We don't want a ton of fiber, because we do, especially after working out and training really hard, I do want that protein that I'm consuming and the carbohydrates that I'm consuming to get to that muscle tissue quickly, and fiber will slow this down a little bit. So that's why I say moderate. Doesn't have to be low fiber, but moderate fiber. And then moderate carbs. We're going to need carbs to create some of that calorie surplus, but it kind of depends how much people want to spend, whether they prefer high fat foods or high carb foods, etc. I usually find pretty moderate in all of those categories works really well. Low to moderate fat adds extra calories really easily. If you're having a hard time eating in a calorie surplus, fat is a great way or easy way to get some extra calories. But those carbs and fat really kind of depends on the person. And again, it's really helpful to work with a person who can help guide you on that one. But carbs do help your muscles absorb the protein that you're consuming a little bit more efficiently. So we don't want to cut out the carbs completely. So like I said, protein is pretty king here, protein and overall calories. This could also be a really good breakfast for someone who's trying to gain muscle. This is likely a good amount of eggs, but probably has some egg whites mixed in with it. Has some healthy fats in there. It looks like it also has some maybe tofu or ham or deli meat in there. So again, boosting the protein in addition to the stuff you get from eggs. Some carbs in there, and then also some healthy fats with the avocado. Pretty moderate, but hopefully a good amount of protein. All right, so good breakfast for high blood sugars. So maybe you took your fasting blood sugar, maybe a doctor told you, hey, you got to watch your blood sugar, it's getting a little high. What do we do? Well, calories are going to depend on a weight goal. So if you're overweight or want to lose weight, calorie deficit will help. Losing some fat will help usually lower your blood sugar. If that's not appropriate for you, then we're going to still look at high protein, because protein doesn't spike our blood sugar that much. High fiber meals don't affect our blood sugar, don't increase our blood sugar too much. So that slows the absorption of our meals, and especially carbohydrates when we have those high fiber meals. So that's why, especially in this situation, we want to have high fiber meals. And this is really going to help balance our blood sugar for the time after our meal. Really important for that, especially in the morning. And then lower in carbohydrates. Again, more stable, less sugar cravings, which really helps lower our blood sugar. Also probably, again, helps with that fat loss goal if that's a component of things. Plus, just having lower sugar cravings usually just makes us feel better, and we can concentrate better throughout the day. And then moderate to higher fat. This is simply because fat doesn't really impact or increase our blood sugar too much. And it also nicely fills out the rest of our calorie needs as well. So moderate to high fat, high in protein, low in carbs, high fiber, that's the kind of trend we're looking for. And here are some examples of what that could look like. Pretty delicious. Can I say that off the bat? Putting this slide together got me really hungry. So my favorite is probably down here. So we have 2 eggs and then some smoked salmon and avocado and a little bit of garnish and onions. This is really blood sugar friendly. Would highly recommend this. I wish I could eat this every day. This is a frittata. So it's not a quiche. It doesn't have a crust on it, but it has some good vegetables in there. We got some mushrooms, some leafy greens, lots of egg. You could hide another protein source in there as well, whether it's egg whites or some leftover protein, ground turkey. This would be another great option as well. Actually getting a little bit of iron from this too, from using a cast iron skillet. So bonus for that. We have another scramble with a bunch of vegetables in there. Again, bonus points if you use like parsley or little microgreens to add some flavor and fragrance to the meal. That will definitely make it taste better. Bacon, eggs, tomato, avocado, very blood sugar friendly. This one, if we're using a low carb tortilla, so Mission Carb or Carb Balance is what they're labeled by Mission, the brand of tortillas, it can be great. They are so high in fiber. I think one wrap is like anywhere from 15 to 18 grams of fiber in one. So a lot of fiber. And you can just fill it with eggs. You could put some sauteed veggies here that kind of looks like it might be either bacon or bell pepper, some greens, and that would be a fantastic breakfast. I mean, a breakfast burrito for breakfast, and it's healthy. Fantastic. Here we got some cottage cheese with berries. Again, I would love to see more of the blueberries, blackberries, raspberries be a big part of this. And I would love it to add some flaxseed, ground flaxseed. This is the raw form. And then this ground form, if we could sprinkle that over our either cottage cheese or in a yogurt berry mixture up here, that would be really good. Only like a couple tablespoons adds a ton of fiber. So highly, highly, highly recommend these ones as well. And they're really simple and fast to throw together. All right, that was my favorite slide, but we'll move on. So good breakfast for gut health, building on all these things. Hopefully you're seeing a pattern here. They change by the detail, not in the overall, framework. They're all similar in that respect. So for gut health goals, again, weight or calorie component, that's going to be determined if you have a weight loss goal or not. Moderate protein, 20 to 40 grams. The reason that this is lower is if someone has gut health issues, especially if your gut is a little bit on the slower side. I want a little bit of protein, so we moderate our sugar cravings, but not quite as much, and especially if your gut is on the slower side. So if you suffer from constipation or you just feel full really easily, if you feel bloated a lot, I want to prioritize more fiber and other things than necessarily pushing that protein super high, like in previous examples. So high fiber, feed the good bacteria. Artichoke hearts, lentils, legumes, avocado, berries, fruit, flax seeds, just some examples of those higher fiber foods, but we definitely need to incorporate those to feed up the good bacteria in our guts and not feed the bad bacteria, which usually like sugar, high carb, processed things. So feed the good stuff with high fiber, and a lot of variety of plant foods is going to do that. Moderate carbs, again, lots of variety. Moderate fat intake from healthy unprocessed sources, avocado, fish, olive oil, nuts, seeds, things like that. And then the difference with this one, probiotic foods would be great. So sauerkraut is a good one, yogurt, if you can tolerate dairy. Kefir is a dairy form typically, but you can find non-dairy kefir as well. And then fermented types of soy. So miso, tempeh, natto. Kombucha has a little bit of probiotics, and obviously we can get it in supplemental form as well. All right, so my tips, what do I think? Remember our goals. So keep those goals in mind and plan accordingly. Try to have one goal at a time. And then I really want you to be honest. Are you getting enough protein, veggies, fiber in each day? If you're not, breakfast is still a great opportunity to get that stuff in during the day. So if you're not getting enough of those things, really encourage you to have breakfast. I see 99% of my clients do better having a meal in the morning. Doesn't have to be right as soon as they wake up, but it's in the mornings before lunchtime. They still typically have 3 meals a day. It's just what I've seen over my years working here. But, and again, ask yourself, is it negatively affecting the rest of my day if I'm not having breakfast? It might be easy to skip breakfast, but am I overeating at lunchtime? Am I over caffeinating? Am I having too many like sugary snacks to get myself through the day? Am I too hungry at dinner time? Am I like impatient or, get that low blood sugar feeling later in the day? If that's happening, if you're wanting to go home at the end of the day and eat the entire fridge, we might need a meal sooner. And people can really thrive off of that. A lot of times when people want to skip breakfast, it's quite often because they need a quicker option or an easier option. So something that maybe is prepped ahead of time can actually solve the problem versus just purposely skipping it and saying that that's actually helping our goals. It might not be. We might just need a quicker option to fill that gap. And then I am generally flexible. I don't say there's blanket statements or rules terribly often. So quality over timing for me. And that's definitely true as far as fat loss. People can say, oh, well, fasting is great for fat loss. It can, because it can make it simple, right? But if I'm overeating every night because I skip breakfast, I would say in that respect, fasting's not helpful, and you might not lose weight that way. So it's all about finding the pattern that works for you. And if we have a quality meal that's just slightly delayed, I would take that over a really poor quality breakfast that's not actually making us feel that good. All right, in summary, skipping breakfast isn't inherently bad. I want you to be honest. I want you to be flexible when you're considering how you want to plan things for yourself as far as your nutrition. And experiment with your routine. See what works well for you. If you think you find something that works really well for you, some good signs are you have really good energy. You have really good focus and concentration throughout the day, less sugar cravings, less mood irregularities or fluctuations. That's always a good day. And then you're able to stop when full. Quite often, a lot of processed foods are foods with no breaks, because they want to sell a lot of that food. So think of potato chips or cereal or sugary snacks, candy bars, things like that. It's hard to stop before you feel like a little bit overly full, right? So if I have a good balanced breakfast that filled all of my nutritional needs, it's usually easier to stop when I'm full. So go back to those slides that have really good examples. It's kind of hard to overeat on those, and that's a good sign as well. And then you have really good workouts. Again, you have lots of energy throughout the day, and that's a fantastic sign that you're fueling your body with adequate nutrition. And be committed to finding what works for you, what makes you feel your best. You start paying attention to this, you need a lot less motivation because you are motivated to feel good. It's fun to feel good, and that's what keeps you going and keeps you doing the things that makes you feel so good. It's fun once you start to notice that. All right, here's your gift. So don't leave yet. You are getting a PDF of 20 breakfast ideas that I've recommended and I send to my clients all the time. All of them have at least 30 grams of protein, and they are marked where the protein sources are. So if you need a higher protein amount, you can just increase that protein portion or that portion of that protein-rich food. Many are gluten-free or dairy-free, or can be easily modified to make it gluten or dairy-free. Plus, if you subscribe, then you can get access to the whole subscriber library for free. It's totally free to be on my email list, but every Friday I try to make it Free Shit Fridays and pass out something that you can download and use today. And I will go ahead and try to show you this. I will link this in the description below, but let's see if I can take you there. All right, so you're going to go to parksidenutrition.com and you're going to click subscribe to the email list. It's going to take you to this window. You just fill in your information, and then it will take you to this screen here. And all of these resources are some of the resources, but you can also download a PDF as well. So this video will be right here once I finish uploading it, and you can download your breakfast ideas. All right. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you could comment below with maybe your favorite breakfast or something you learned from this video, that would be fantastic. If you hit that subscribe button, I will be so grateful. It helped me reach other people and help them with their nutrition goals. I love this job so much. I just really appreciate you watching. So have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in the next video.